Hello, everyone, and welcome to another XTIVIA live session, Manufacturing and CRM Part 2, presented by Mike Ahrenhoersterbaeumer and Lynn Scheurell. My name is Alex Killian, and I'm the video editor and digital media specialist here on XTIVIA's marketing team. Before we dive into our live session this morning, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our company. Since 1992, XTIVIA has established a proven reputation as a company that delivers leading-edge IT solutions and technology supports for our clients' specific requirements. Our service areas include mobile application development, BIDW, CRM, ERP, data management, web portal, digital experience design, and EIM services and solutions. And XTIVIA has offices in Colorado, New York, New Jersey, Missouri, Texas, and Virginia. And today we'll be hearing from Mike Ahrenhoersterbaeumer, sales and account executive for CRM. Mike has worked out of our CRM practice at XTIVIA for 7 years now, and he has vast experience with many of the major CRM platforms. Mike greatly enjoys helping companies find the right CRM solution and seeing how it truly benefits their organization over time. And today we'll also be hearing from Lynn Scheurell, the lead digital strategist for XTIVIA. Lynn has been creating experiences through content and copy in digital marketing and messaging since 1998. She is known for her unique perspective, positive, empowering mindset, and abilities as a high communicator to deliver significant value. She translates complex concepts into simple clarity for practical action. Lynn and Mike, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having us. Happy to be here.
Well, let's get rolling. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about. So this, as Alex said, this is the second in a two-part series where we just had so much in the first part that we wanted to cover that we just needed to extend it into this second part. So we're going to cover the only sustainable business advantage that manufacturers, well, really any business has today in the market. We're going to talk about digital transformation in manufacturing, the big hot buzzword. We're going to talk about the opportunity cost in not having a CRM. It's something that you might not be thinking about. What stops manufacturers from getting or upgrading their current CRM? The practical benefits of having a CRM, how to know when a CRM makes sense for your manufacturing company, and really what the bottom line of manufacturing and CRM is all about. So we're just going to jump right in and let's just talk about what is the only sustainable business advantage that we have today. And we gave you a hint on this in part one. It's the customer experience you deliver. Now, the word customer is a little deceptive because it's not always external. We think customer is external, it's who's buying our services, but the most important customer is our internal customer, our employees, our staff, and then our vendors and stakeholders. And so the overall customer experience is what determines your brand experience, and it becomes really your only sustainable competitive advantage in business today. It's a saturated market out there, and so the more seamless you can be in delivering your customer experience, the more your brand is going to stand out, and people are going to want, you're going to make it easy. You're going to make it easy for them to have a business relationship with you. You want to share anything on that with what you've seen?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, Lynn. I think to me, the biggest thing about, customer experience is that should be the one thing that you have total control over, right? That should be the area where there is no mistakes. I say that, and it's nearly impossible to happen, but you have to make it as easy as possible for the customer, right? Whether it's trying to put in a new order, whether it's calling about an issue they're having, making sure you have timely responses, you're giving them good information, you're giving them insight, right? Into making the right decisions to help them, grow their own organization moving forward. It's just, to me, customer experience, whether it's a smooth looking website where you go order, or whether it's the way, your people answer the phone, whatever it might be, there's so many different aspects that go into customer experience. But that should be the one area where you have total control over, because that is the main thing that, like you said, it can differentiate you from your competitors, right? That's one small thing that, I don't say it's small, but there's one small thing that if you do it this way and the customer's not happy with it, they could jump ship to elsewhere, right? So having total control on that is big. Yeah.
we're in a what is it, a swipe economy or a click economy where, people, they've got access. They don't have to stay stuck with any solution. So the
absolutely
offer has got to be seamless. It just, and you cannot deliver a quality customer experience anymore without technology. That's the thing. Yeah, technology is everything. And
less clicks, man. That's what I always hear, and that's what I always say. The less clicks, the better.
And XTIVIA's motto is, if you can imagine a business outcome, XTIVIA can create it with technology. You need to have technology to extend everything you're doing, leverage your time, effort, and minimize the resources you're spending in doing it. So personalization without having the time spent to personalize every single email that goes out. You've got to be able to automate some of that stuff. So yeah.
Sure.
And speaking of that, let's talk about digital transformation in manufacturing. Digital transformation, that's a buzzword that everybody's talking about. Most industries use that to describe this organizational kind of upgrade process, but it goes way beyond technology. People hear digital and they think, oh, it's just digitizing my operation. That's not it. Digital transformation is really about the mindset and the operational processes and the progression of making your customer the focal point of your business. And again, customer means both external and internal. So to do that, you need to upgrade your systems. You need to streamline your processes. You've got to support employees in being customer-centric. And yes, technology, again, is what ties all these elements together. So, anybody who has not heard of this term in business in today's environment, it's time.
And I think it's a mindset, right? I mean, that is what it is. It's not a, overnight, hey, we transformed, right? It's an ongoing thing. It is a mindset, and you have to stick to it, right? You have to get out ahead of the game. Because like you said, everybody's heard this buzzword, everybody's heard this term. So, if you are trying to improve your organization, you're trying to tackle this digital transformation now, right? And we like to say that's where we're coming in to help you out, right? Because technology, it's not the end all be all of it, but it is a big driver. It is a proponent of it. In this day and age, we're not almost, it's 2019, but it'll be 2020 before you know it. Technology everything's going there. Everything's automating, right? Everything's coming off of that. So some people may hear technology and they may get, scared. They may get nervous, like, oh man, so much effort to upgrade this, so much effort to overhaul this. But you got to think about it from the long run. I mean, once you've done that, you can speed up so many processes on your end, take so much manual effort out of it, which just allows your people, like I think I referenced on our last call, to focus on the things that they need to be doing and provide them with more time and the tools to help your customers even more, make more sales, whatever it might be, whatever their job is, whatever their occupation is that you've hired them to do. You got to give them the tools to be successful, or else it's just going to bog everybody down. So.
Well, and you just brought up another good point. I don't know if you've heard this term, Mike, but future-proof. What you're doing there is future-proofing your technology. You're making it so that your technology can grow with your expansion over time because you're thinking ahead and you're planning ahead. And that's for stuff you don't even know is going to happen yet. You're planning for the as yet unknown, but you need to do it today. And if you haven't caught up even to where today is, that's where legacy tech and aging systems and infrastructure that's kind of crumbling, you got to get that stuff in line and then be ready for your growth. So any company that's not working with digital transformation as a concept and thinking future-proofing technology with frictionless enterprise and invisible technology. These are all, they're buzzy words, but there's real meaning behind them when you put them in the operational context. So,
and a word that and you can go to the next slide if you want to, but while you're doing that, I mean, a word that I don't find very buzzwordy, but it to me, it ties everything you just said together. You got to be adaptable, right? Things change on the fly all the time. And so not only do you have to be adaptable, you got to have the right solutions in place that can adapt on a moment's notice and grow with you as things come up, whatever they might be, right? We're in a changing world these days. There's all kinds of new things coming up that are coming out of nowhere that you got to be ready for, and you got to have something that can, adapt for you on the fly when you need it to change. So
agility, right? Agility is the name.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, so every software has an associated cost, including CRMs, and we just can't get around that. But The real cost that many companies, including manufacturers, do not consider is the opportunity cost of not having a CRM. So I'm sure you encounter this in your conversations all the time, Mike. Okay, go.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, you make a very good point. Hold on one second. There we go. You make a very good point, right? So some people look at the cost of a CRM, right? And, I think we talked about this a little bit last week of, that box system, right? But, also with that, I can go on to pretty much any of the major CRM systems and I can look on their website and see, oh, okay, that's how much that costs on a per user basis, right? What you don't know out of the box though is, comes back to what we said last week. An out of the box system is probably not going to meet your needs, right? So you need to take the time to work with somebody, work with experts in the field. I think I see the name XTIVIA on the slide, to really kind of have this system built out to meet your needs, right? Obviously, there's a cost that goes into that. There's a time that goes into that. There's an effort that goes into that, both, on yours and, the partner's perspective, to make sure that it's done right. So, you do have to think about that. There is a cost, not only from an investment perspective of software, of services, of time, of effort. There is that cost that goes into that. But you also have to think about, what if we don't do anything, right? We're going to fall behind the times. If you're on an ancient system or if you're still working on spreadsheets, I got my spreadsheet, Joe's got his spreadsheet, Lynn's got her spreadsheet, Alex has his. We're all tracking different things. I got them in Outlook or I got them in Gmail, whatever. It's all separate, right? It's all such a manual thing. So how much time are you spending? How much time are you wasting? I don't want to put it too bluntly, but frankly, how much time are you, how much time are you, getting the information out of the system or finding or calling somebody in the office trying to find the information that you need. But if you have something in there that can automate, that can, expedite processes, that can provide your clients with information and insights that they need moving forward at a much faster pace, not only are you saving time, which that time can then, I can get all fancy with you here and you could take 2 more hours a week and that can focus on 6 more sales a week, whatever it might be, right? I mean, those are some of the things that a CRM can make you do or help you do, right? So it is not just, what are the costs of, this CRM and getting it in place and how much time and effort is it going to take? But you have to think about it in the long run. How much time and effort is it going to save you moving forward? CRM is not a short-term fix. It is a long-term strategy, right? So you have to stick with it. It is, right? You know that. I mean, especially in the, the manufacturing, that's what we're talking about, right? I mean, a lot of manufacturers are still kind of working their way towards it. I think they're a little nervous about, we talked about digital transformation, about going with a new CRM platform because, they have been successful and they've been successful with spreadsheets. They've been successful with Post-it notes, picking up the phones, individual emails, individual calendars, which don't get me wrong, emails is a huge benefit.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
They've been successful doing that. Right?
Exactly. So they don't want to get, and they're comfortable. They don't want to get out of the comfort zone, right? But you have to do it, right? Because eventually you're going to hit a wall. It's that simple. And don't get me wrong, picking up the phone and calling somebody, still got to do it, and it's a great way to do it. But being able to track those, I mean, how many times can you pick up the phone and then next week you forgot what you talked about or who you talked to, or maybe tomorrow? I mean, if you're like me, I forget an hour ago. So, so being able to track that information and having that ongoing stream of information, which I can then report on, I can spot trends, I can see where we are successful, that's going to really help you get your ROI out of it. I mean, it's a short-term cost, it's a short-term effort, but it is a long-term strategy. It's an investment.
It's not even a cost, it's an investment because it's going to pay you back. I feel like when there's good cash flow, why would you want to slow things down, right? That's probably a factor. And I think another factor is the difference between price versus value, right? So it's not how much you're paying for something, but the value you're going to get from it. So when you slow down and do something like this to catch your infrastructure up and have a CRM and have your systems talking to the ERP and all that kind of stuff, like it starts really, as you said, the ROI exponentially increases. It really
and I think too, you got to think too, ROI and the value that we're going to get out of it. I think a lot of times it's hard to quantify. I think every organization looks at it differently, right? It can be more, money-centric based. It can be time-centric based. It can be all kinds of different things. Really, what is your goal? Get out of it. Some people, it is as simple as my people got too much going on. They got too much to do. If I can save them 2-4 hours a week, then we're golden, right? Or maybe you are trying to, grow, your profit percentage 5% over the next year, or revenues over this or that, whatever. That ROI, it's hard to quantify for a lot of organizations, right? Because everybody does look at it different. What are your your short-term and your long-term goals as an organization? And that conversation needs to happen internally. And a lot of times working with organizations, such as XTIVIA, those are important conversations that need to happen in order to ensure that you're getting a good solution in place for you, right?
You know what? I think there's a case study on the XTIVIA.com website. I'm just recalling this, where I think it was in a health facility, and it was something like it saved 40% of staff time to put the CRM or customize the CRM. I don't know. I might be wrong, but it can be significant.
Yeah,
return.
we did that one. Yeah,
we did that. Okay, so I got it right. Okay.
Yeah, but that is exactly what it was, right? They were a different industry, different perspective, but their importance was time, right? Their back office team was doing way too much double entry, way too much paperwork. So it was a matter of automating it and saving their team time, and that's exactly what we were able to help them do. Yeah,
that's
awesome. A good point.
Well, let's talk about what stops manufacturers from getting a CRM or upgrading the one that they have. And on this screen, you're going to see some statistics from the manufacturer's research study once again. So take it away, Mike. Have a chat.
Yeah, and I'm not going to dive too much, of what's off the slide here. I do think these are important points to just read and make, right? And I think the first two, obviously, well, really, let's be honest, all of them go together. But 11% of survey respondents said they were unsatisfied with their CRM. An additional 35 said they're neutral towards it, right? So it's just kind of whatever.
I mean, it's like the backbone of your business. Why wouldn't you love it? Right?
We have one. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does for us, but we have one, right? That's not the right attitude to have, but you can see that many people have it. Comments, also indicated that the age of the system, underutilization of all the features and functionalities, available. What is that? Or a combo of both playing into those numbers, right? Half the time people don't even, how many times have I heard, I don't even know what this thing can do for me, right? So they don't have the right education, right? It's that simple. And again, the more hidden costs and not to be considered. But I think all four of these have to go right back to what was something that we just discussed was we've been successful doing it our way over these years. We've grown as we've done it this way. We're comfortable doing it this way. Why do I need to change, right? And that is something we just talked about. And again, it ties back to everything we've really talked about, the digital transformation. All your competitors are going that route. They are overhauling their tools. They are overhauling their processes to improve not only their business, but their customers' experience. So if you don't look to tackle those things, then you're gonna fall behind. It's a scary thing to think about, and it may be a scary thing to tackle, but it's got to be done, or you are gonna fall behind. Yeah.
Well, fall behind and risk going obsolete. The type of business that just didn't keep. There's numerous examples throughout history of things like that. So. But so let's talk about, let's dig into, in practical terms, the benefits of a manufacturing company having a CRM. There's a whole bunch of stuff. A single platform helps and customers and partners and vendors and stakeholders. And, there's just so much that just in practical terms, this is part of that ROI, right?
Yeah, and I think, there's a few things that we can tackle here. I apologize. I'm hearing an echo.
Well, you sound good on this end.
Okay, great. So, the CRM over the last 2 sessions, or 1.5 sessions now, we've talked about a number of different things it can do for you, right? Allow your employees to tag team accounts. So, you're not overstepping each other's boundaries, right? You're doing your role, you're doing what you need to do. Your teammates are doing the same things to, not only just tag team accounts, but give them the answers that they need better, get more orders entered in faster, whatever it might be. communication's a big thing. You know, as you talk with some of these platforms, you know, one of their big things is collaboration and communication, right? So, you know, it's almost, we always kind of say it's like the Facebook feed or your Twitter feed of your CRM, right? You know, everybody's going social these days, right? So collaboration and communication is a big, big, big benefit of CRM. Now, you can see there's a ton of different other things on here. And like I've referenced a few other times on these sessions, these are just some of the main ones, right? There are endless things that CRM can help you with in a practical perspective, right? It's not just what's listed here. There's so many other things out there because they're not just client relationship management systems anymore. They are platforms, right? You can build off them. Just think of anything that you want to do and you can do it. But these are some of the major practical solutions it can do. And I don't want to dive too far into each of them now for the sake of time. I think we have a few minutes left and a few slides. So, but these are some of the major things it can help with for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how to know when your manufacturing company, when it makes sense for you to invest in a CRM. Because the first time you see a CRM demo, I would say probably people go, no, this just doesn't make sense. It needs to be customized. It doesn't.
I don't get it. Yeah.
Right. You know? Yeah. And maybe your manufacturing company is one of the, only ones that doesn't need this, but I would be highly surprised by that because, a CRM isn't just about sales. It's about forecasting product level needs and working with your ERP system. And then, you need to know that your system's going to flex and to scale with your growth. So there are trends in the greater business environment that are affecting how business is done, not the least of which is the move into mobility. As we talked about before, business happens from the palm of your hand. So you have to be able to access data from what used to be separate systems in a way that's cohesive and real-time and convenient. So, so what would you like to add to this one, Mike?
I think you hit a lot of the nail on the head, right? Efficiency, and automation. Those are two of the big components of a CRM. But, these are all extremely good, well thought out questions that you're seeing on the screen here. And what I would tell you is, again, I keep mentioning at different points in these presentations that I know I brought it up before. I know I mentioned it before, but it is the truth because it's an important fact, right? CRMs can do a lot of different things for you. You don't have to tackle everything at once, right? Focus on the small and grow it over time, right? But so look at each of these questions, and if there are any of these that, you can't properly answer as to how we're doing them or, what it doesn't work, then yeah, you need a CRM system. You need something or a better one or a newer one, right? Something that's going to, like you said, adapt, be flexible enough and grow with you, right? So yeah, can I forecast product level needs? Yeah, I can do it. It's a pain. I got to go to 3 different systems. I got to export data. I got to, do pivot tables, run a VLOOKUP, whatever it is. Well, then that answer is no. I mean, that shouldn't be the answer you want, right? You want something that's, like that, right? I get the information I need. I'm tired of spending so much time, so much effort trying to pull and manufacture the data that I need when I could just get the system in there that gives it to me on a fly. I want it sent to my email inbox every Monday morning at 8 a.m. I don't even want to have to go into the system. All right, get the right tool in place. You don't have to. Think about how much time and effort that might not save you, but it might save some of your employees that have to pull that information for you, every week, right? And think about what other things they can focus on. So that's just kind of these are all extremely good, well thought out questions, and it just, you may be able to answer some of them, you may not. But if you, don't have a good, thought process or a good answer for all of these, then it's very likely a new or just a CRM system, platform solution, could be needed and could be leveraged and really have a big improvement on your business.
Well, you know what? Let's just talk about the bottom line for manufacturers and CRM software. I mean, really, the big question becomes, how much efficiency do you want in your operation? Because a lack of efficiency, a lack of insight, potentially leaving money or customers on the table, what do you stand to lose by just getting by with what you're doing right now? The reason you want to follow through on a CRM is you want to increase efficiency and reduce cost and make customers happier and have better quality products and improve customer service, and then that all leads to longer customer life cycle and referrals. And it's not about the cost, it's about the value, it's about what it's costing you to not have the right CRM.
Sure. Yep. And again, like I said, you don't want to fall by the wayside, right? So, you don't want to lose customers. You don't want to lose data. You want to reduce cost. This, like you said, at the nail on the head, it's an investment, right? This is a long-term strategy. If there are things that you can do to speed up processes, improve your clients' relationships, improve your sales, improve your customer service and support teams, whatever it might be that you want to tackle head on first, CRM is going to help you. These platforms, they're so powerful these days. They got, the things that you can do with them. It's unbelievable now. The whole, and it was something we talked about I think it was the last session. We're talking, robotics and artificial intelligence and all that stuff. We're just scratching the surface of all that. But AI especially is becoming a big, big component of CRM these days, right? So not only can you automate things, but you can have decisions made for you. It becomes your assistant, right? It's some cool stuff that it can do. And so, yes, it is a cost. It is an investment at one point. But the value that you're going to see in the ROI, whatever is important to you, whatever you look at as a successful ROI, those things can be had. Those things can be done rather quickly a lot of times, when you're implementing one of these powerful CRM platforms, especially when you're using a good partner like XTIVIA to help you get into it.
Nice. Shameless plug. But yeah, I mean, really, getting a CRM or upgrading your CRM is the investment that pays you back.
Yep, 100%. Tenfold.
Yeah, so there's really, here we go. XTIVIA can support in 3 different phases. We talked about this in the first part, but any more that you want to add here, Mike?
No, I don't want to harp on it too much. We definitely touched on this last time, right? There's 3 phases of it, right? The pre-implementation aspect, making sure, you have your business needs and your goals identified as to what you want to tackle with a CRM implementation, right? Helping make sure you have those outlined, speaking with the right parties involved within your organization to understand, okay, how this is going to affect you. What are some, things you can see improve? What are some must-haves, some nice-to-haves, all that kind of different stuff. And then getting into the software selection, licensing, all that stuff. All the pre-implementation, right, before you've decided to actually kick off and go live. And then the implementation, again, we got into this a lot last time, so I won't spend a ton of time on it, but, setting up your team, setting up the security, implementing the software, configuring and customizing it, moving data over from your old systems, your legacy systems, integrating it and having that ongoing live feed or nightly feed, whatever you want, with your ERP, maybe your order entry systems, whatever you have, your marketing automation systems. And I know that kind of just dabbled a little bit into the post-implementation, but, marketing automation is another big aspect of CRM, right? They all have their little bolt-on solutions that can help you send out email blasts, can do target marketing, can set up drip campaigns, right? All that stuff. It can tie in your website these days, get your website analytics and landing pages and all that really, really cool stuff. And even that's an area where we have the expertise to help out, right? If you just need maybe some guidance is that, hey, I'm trying to expand. I don't know the best ways to go about it, what to do. We got a team that can help you do that. Or maybe it's the actual grunt work and, you're utilizing a product that we can support from a marketing perspective. And we'll help you actually go in and build it and make the changes and build your campaigns, right? But it's the marketing. You need additional features. It's the report development, training, very, very vital. We talked about that last week. All kinds of different stuff. Like we've mentioned before, it's not a, hey, turn it on and you're done. It's an ongoing venture, right? So you always want to try to improve it.
Yeah, and it happens at the pace that the company needs, right? So it's it's not overwhelming. XTIVIA have deep expertise, understand business outcomes, and, hold your hand.
Yeah,
we're friendly like that.
Sure. I think that's what I had, though. There we go. That's the last slide.
Lynn and Mike, thank you so much again. That was some great information. As always, links will be in the description below, so make sure you check those out and make sure you tune in for our next live session. If you enjoyed this one, please like this video, subscribe to our channel so you can keep up to date with everything we're putting out. And thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.